Okie dokies, hokey dokies, yokies, it's time to polka. Everybody polka. There we go. So I just wrote up another one here. Now, this is something, like I say, just another example. So let's say, Bob acts as the man or woman, that's the Minister of Education, so I'm giving him a notice. And so anytime I write a notice, I'll CC it, to anyone else that may be concerned, like the principal, the teacher, like homeroom teacher, or whatever. So this one here is just basically, hi Bob, greetings. As I believe you, in capitals, are the woman, or man or woman, who acts as Minister of Education. As I did enroll property of I, forgot to put 4 corner brackets, see attached, right? And see attached should be the pictures of the kids. So as I did enroll property of I, see attached at public elementary, as is my right and right? So my right to educate, have my property enrolled in public school. It's a public school. It's paid for. It's a public building. These are public servants. So I have a right, and my right, RITE, which is the customs of our people, right? So it's been the custom to enroll our kids as a right to public school for a hell of a long time. It is the wish of I. You notice what follows. Just. Now when I use the word just, I'm talking about to justify, justification, okay? So, and I'm justifying this word with the word just. So just so no one who acts as an educator does not trespass. Now, I didn't have to put the word not in there. I tried to keep no, not, never out. So I could have put, who acts as educator, I don't know, I'm coming up with a blank moment, but who acts as an educator does not trespass upon said right or rights. That does include, and not limited to, my religion. You may teach reading, grammar, math, writing, computer skills, physical education. If you believe there are any other courses that might be of interest, feel free to put them in written form and send them by way of post. And then, you go kind regards, right? And then I put my name there, and then I qualify my name. Amen. I know I get low there and I start scribbling real bad, right? But this is our right. We have the right to be in control of our property. It is our property. That that little darling is also our responsibility, right? So basically, if our little darlings do anything wrong in public, you and I are the ones who are liable and responsible for them. So we need to be able to shape our little monsters, but we need to control the environment around our property and shape them so that they are able to go into society one day, or be able to, if they wish to go into society, to be able to know how to act. So it's up to us, on proper manners and respect for their elders. Not like those freaks that attacked that little old lady in Hamilton. I mean, where was the respect there? Where was the morals there? Where was anything there? It's just crazy. Just crazy. I'm still upset about that, man. So, so I just wanted to put this as another example, so I don't have to put notice, hey, notice. I have notice in here. So, I have notice in here, I have my lawful excuse in here, I have, you know, it's a little more just, you know, based to the point, to whoever, you know, the man or woman who is in charge over this whole, you know, fiasco, this whole institution. Yeah. So you can take a look at what courses that are offered to your little darling, and see which ones are available. And what I noticed too is they won't put down, you know, like sexual education preference and all that kind of crap. So you may wish to put that, you know, you may wish to word this, hey, due to my religious or the religious beliefs of I, you know, that it's not the wish of I for, you know, for you to teach my property any sex ed. And I don't think we should be teaching sex ed, period. I mean, anatomy is one thing. Okay, so they started off with this stuff, like, started off with anatomy and then started working its way into sex ed, and now it's just, you know, now it's just crazy. I mean, it's just a promotion of alternative lifestyles that anyone under 14 really doesn't need to know. I don't believe. You know, this is what I believe. And if this was happening at the time of my little darlings that I put into public school, if this was happening at the time, then yeah, no, there would have been hell to pay. And I would have made sure that notices were flying, letters were flying, and that people were, you know, no, I don't have to have their acquiescence. I don't have to have their agreement. I have a right in the control over property of I. As simple as that. Now, if they wish to come on to me about co-parent, I'm going to ask them, show me how you have a claim to my property. Where is your claim to my property? Did you author my property? Do you feed my property? Are you not a hireling? Are you not being paid to be here by the public? So you're not here with rights. You know, you have the basic rights of any man or woman that every man and woman have. But you have no special rights as a person that lord over the property of I or my family. And I have not given up my right. I didn't see anywhere in the supreme law of Canada, because none of us have constitutions provincially, right? We all fall under the corporate body's constitution. Well, we don't, but the establishment does. I didn't see anything in there that subverts the rights of any man or woman, the intrinsic, the fundamental, the inalienable rights of any man or woman. I see, you know, we're not a communist land yet. We're not a place where nobody, where everyone has lost the right to property, you know. So, and like I say, there's a difference if you know, like I say, when it comes to, you know, my wife and I am her property, she is my property. I authored those kids, but that she has a claim on our property. And normally, you know, just out of the right, R-I-T-E, of her people, if there is a family separation, you know, the daughter would stay with the mother until, I think, for sure 12 years old, and the masculine one would stay with the father or with the mother until for sure 5 years old. So, I mean, this is the thing, you know, our family units have been attacked. I've watched my whole lifetime, you know, I've been seeing like attack on the family unit. And it's been a lot about me. You know, what am I getting? You know? To see you know, my old lady and I have been together for, I don't know, 33 years. And, you know, when I first relocated over to this area of North America, you know, people would look at our kids and say, how come your kids look like you guys? And I thought that was fucking weird, but I didn't realize how many blended families there were out there. And I happened to move to an area where blended families are pretty much the norm, rather than the you know, traditional stay together. So yeah, I mean, lots gone on. Pretty depressing what's going on with this land, with this nation. It's yeah, I'm watching this legal society just, you know, just rip everything to pieces. And I don't think Trudeau was hiding any of this from us. Like, you know, I keep thinking of when he came out and, you know, called Canada a post-state. Well, I believe in his eyes, yeah, no, old stock Canadians don't exist anymore. And now we're, you know, over the years they have been reconstructing public ideologies, so to speak. And so now he's looking at us as a post-state. Now we're going to become something very, very different. And so anyone who wishes to stand on, you know, just the basic common sense moralities, or common sense, like, you know, that we're all equal, it's just those folks are just under attack. You know, it's attack, and I don't see the benefit. Like, you know, watching things go on from you know, equal rights and women's liberation and stuff, which is, I guess, my generation. You know, and where the Native folks, which is also my generation, where the Native folks no longer needed written federal permission to leave the prisoner of war camps. You know, and you know, as we decided to start cleaning up, you know, industrialized waste, you know, environmentally, like I believe that Canadians were the ones who invented scrubbers for stacks and so on. Like, you know, like I was watching this happen, and we were, you know, we were leading pretty much the world in equality and, you know, coming together. It looked like we were about to come together as a nation. Yeah, so ever since, say the early 80s, you know, since the last crash that Trudeau Sr. did induce on us, you know, out of control interest payments, you know, putting Western Canada pretty much out of work. You know, it's just like it was a nightmare at the time. And I used to hear a lot about, oh yeah, well, all the bitching and complaining, you know, you can, it just, but nothing really came about. The only thing that actually came about was about yeah, Canadian accent, eh? But the only thing I did see come about was basically GST, free trade, which I saw a huge exodus of Canadian manufacturing when free trade came, and down to the States. Now we had a 60-cent frickin' dollar or something like that. The dollar still wasn't cheap enough to keep a Canadian company operating within you know, the jurisdiction of Canada. So they went there, and then so there was free trade, and then there was NAFTA, and then when NAFTA happened, you know, then they started, you know, the exodus down to Mexico came, because money was cheap and the people are cheap, right? Labor, you know, not quite as cheap as, I guess, slavery in Asia, you know, certain parts of Asia, but so these corporations that run under, you know, that are you know, how do you say, you know, when you create a corporation, you can create a national corporation, an international corporation that's allowed to operate within the corporate, you know, the corporate jurisdiction of the corporate body politic, and so like we have, you know, like, what is there, 9 corporations that pretty much run all the corporations in North America now? Like it's very few, right? And now as our nations are being run by these corporate executives, you know, I don't really see the value in the corporate body politic anymore, because it's just basically, they're almost like the buffer. They're almost like, you know, the front line of attacking anyone who gets in the way of their narrative, and anyone who wishes to stand. You know, I was starting to watch. I think it was the Wexit Red Deer meeting. Anybody there? He's kind of interesting, but where the fuck is the Constitution? Where the fuck is the Constitution? And I will explain why I'm not being more involved in that. But I just wanted to get this up. I was going to do it yesterday, but I had other shit to do, so wasn't feeling good. And so, you know, a basic notice, right? You know, and it's the wish of I, you notice. So if you wish to notice somebody, or have your notice noticed by other folks, you know, never get aggressive and say, you must notice. You know, I require you to notice. No, slavery is outlawed in all its forms. You know, now I may require of you something within the mandate of the office to which you act, if I see it in the mandate. And but yeah, there we go. I mean, if somebody holds an office and they act as a person within the office, they have a mandate, and if they don't operate within the mandate, then obviously they better have a really good excuse, or they're now on their own, say, lack of a better word for it, their own personal liability, right? That's a personal liability. I've heard that so many times, but you know, yeah, they're not, you know, immune anymore. They have no crown immunity. And the Minister of Education, well, whoever the man or woman is that acts as the Minister of Education signed on to that, all right, to serve the public. There's definitely a public servant. You know, honestly, I believe there should be no unions within government. None. I think it should always be up to the people. I think if you wish to, you know, have democracy, it should be played both directly and both represented, like representatively, right? So, you know, we have these representatives, so-called, right? This front line for the corporate body that, you know, that pushes their mandate and their, what do you call it? You know, all that brainwashing and shit going on in our schools, you know, so they push a narrative, their agenda, you know, on the people, and desensitize the people to things, to the point where we end up amoral, right? You know, not immoral, not moral, and I believe that, you know, they are the cause, those folks are the cause, and these mandates are the cause of a lot of depression for folks. You know, Native folks didn't wake up drinking whiskey just 'cause. All right, you know, if you saw the you know, what looked like extinction of your people and your cousins and your, you know, and the destruction of your homes and stuff by these colonists, you know, which I guess are my forefathers as well, but if you saw that happening here, oh, hang on, you might be seeing it here. It may be happening here right before our eyes. You know, it would be a very fucking depressing thing now, wouldn't it? You know, when it's the death of a society, it's the death of a way of life. You know, it was the death of their way of life. And now it's becoming the death of our way of life. And what they're doing is they're using the legal society to do it. Oh, hang on, that's exactly what they did to the native folks. The only thing I can see are people standing up, and this is my solution to standing. Okay, this is where I believe we will have as a people, as a nation, have the greatest effect. And hey, where is the Constitution? Where is Alberta's Constitution? You know, those rallies right now should be, okay, we're building a Constitution. What do you wish to see in the Constitution? That's what these rallies should be doing right now. What does everyone wish to see in the Constitution? Is this a good idea or is this bad? Start jotting it down. Take the ideas of them by and from the people and start jotting them down. Then come out with an outline of the articles, the basic articles. Don't worry about, like, the president of the republic or any of that stuff at this time. Just worry about getting the Constitution and the ideas of and from the people. And, go ahead and read the articles of the U.S. Constitution. Go ahead and read it, or the U.S. of A, I should say. Read it. I mean, there's some great ideas in there. Read all the constitutions. The only problem with constitutions that come from, that nations have, that came from the corporate body down to the people instead of from the people up, is because the those persons within these jurisdictional hierarchies, these entitled persons, because they create them, then they figure, hey, I made it, I can break it. You're just a little people. I'm using the Constitution to keep you. That's why when a cop says, do you understand your constitutional right or your charter rights? I'm like, I ain't got no charter rights. What fucking charter rights? Those are your charter rights as you hold that office, not my charter rights. I was born with inalienable rights. Now, who says I do wrong? Where's the harm? Where's the loss? Where's the injury? Where's the victim? Where's the crime? That's all I care about, and that's what the common law land is about. And yes, we do have public laws, because when you go and act within the public, in public, right, the reason we have laws is so that the establishment can create, like, intelligent laws that, so keep the public structure so that everyone knows, hey, I'm acting in public, so therefore I need to construct myself in a certain manner so that I don't breach the peace. I see all public laws as a breach of peace. What's a breach of peace? Speeding down the highway would be a breach of the peace. I could care less about the Highway Traffic Act. What I do care about, though, is causing harm, loss, and injury. And to breach my fellow man's peace would be wrong. If I intentionally go and breach the peace, it's wrong. Unless, of course, I have a proper lawful excuse. Like, why were you speeding down the highway? Because I found a man on the side of the road bleeding to death and I was running to the hospital. Did you not see the red flags hanging out of my windows? Oh, that's an old custom, Canadian custom, that you might wish to look at, hanging a red flag out of your window while you boogie down the road as safe as possible, as quick as possible to save someone's life. Now, whether it breaks their ordinance, their policy, their highway traffic, that is of no concern at that time to me, because I wish to save a life, and I believe that life is a little more important than dealing with these guys with the sticks and the guns and the uniforms that just come and beat up on you for any excuse they can. And if you don't believe that they come and beat up on you, check out Cal Washington. Check out what happened to his brother in Vancouver over a child maintenance dispute or problem or lack of payment. You know, they come in with body armor, automatic weapons, and beat the shit out of the guy. And they got the wrong guy. And he's trying to tell them they got the wrong fucking guy. This is way out of hand, man. Frankenstein is on the loose. So this is my solution. This is where I come from. And pen, paper, and ink is the best. Forget about emails. Forget about phone calls. All that shit. Nobody has to admit. Everybody can deny. You know, put it down in written form and get it over. Get it over. And let somebody know. Give them fair warning that they may trespass if, you know, this is fair warning, this letter, right? Where's the fair warning that you might trespass upon said right or rights? And I don't wish you to trespass upon my right or rights, okay? So, yeah, all right. I think that's it.